Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. I just want to talk to you, give you a recap from my standpoint, from the standpoint of taxes and spending and property tax. So, the North Dakota legislature had a special session. In a nutshell, the gist of it is like this. For many years now, the entire time I was in there from 2012 through 2022, the OMB, Office of Management and Budget, had an appropriation bill that was always kept to be the last bill of the entire session because it became a habit, a tradition that everything would get thrown on there that legislators wanted, especially the power players, Bismarck Mafia, various appropriation members. If they wanted to get something on there and get it passed, they could slip it in to this bill. So it was effectively like an omnibus. And because it was the last bill passed on the last day when everyone is tired and wants to get out of there, generally you can get stuff passed that wouldn't potentially otherwise pass. Let's run my little banner. Nope, that's not it. Oh. So this last session was so bad, there were 60 some amendments tossed on. And it has become so bad that even when a bill goes through the legislature and fails, the people behind it, the power players behind it, will say, don't worry, we'll slip it in to the OMB bill at the end and we'll get it passed. See, that's how it works. And that's not how it should work. So for various reasons I won't get into, the Supreme Court struck down this last OMB budget bill because they struck down the whole thing, saying there's so much crap in here, we can't even tell what's supposed to be the primary purpose of the bill versus the add-ons. That's how bad it was. Otherwise, they would have just struck down the add-ons. So the legislature came back because they had to fix the stuff. They converted the single OMB bill into 14 separate bills. That's how bad it was. And then they took these bills up over these last 3 days. It was odd to me also, by the way, Governor Burgum in his address to the legislature, State of the State address, was saying how this was historic and like it was a really, really positive thing. He said, this is only the 17th time a historic occasion like this has come into play where this legislature has come in for a special session. It's like, this isn't a positive thing. The legislature is back in session because they passed, and you, Governor Burgum, signed a bill that was chock full of pork and crammed in and not done in the proper fashion. So now they have to redo it. Okay, so that's setting the table. So of these 14 bills, a lot of it is, some of it's interesting stuff, but I want to focus on taxing and spending. So one of the bills that came through at the behest of Governor Burgum was an income tax reduction bill. Now, I applaud Governor Burgum on this. I back his efforts. I endorse his efforts to reduce the income tax. He's been in office for 7 years. He's only become interested in giving people tax relief in the last year and a half. For some reason, you might be able to figure that out. Nevertheless, you take what you get. So his tax bill would have reduced tax rates and expanded the number of people who would pay no income tax. And the savings to the citizens of North Dakota would have been about $46 million, I think $45.8 million. So that passed in the House, but it failed in the Senate. Okay, so we had a potential tax relief bill for income tax, not property tax, but income tax. It did not pass, failed. Burgum's upset about that. Burgum expressed in his State of the State and his comments afterward how much money the state has. The state has so much money, billions of dollars. The state also had, in just the months from when the legislature got out at the end of April, May, and June, an additional $288 million more than they thought was going to come in that short time. So Governor Burgum had all sorts of ways that he said we should spend this money, because he has all these ideas, and it's spend, spend, spend. So of the 288 million, I believe, he thought 46 million should go to tax relief. At least there was that, but the Senate killed it. So they did not see fit, even though the revenues are increased, to provide further tax relief to the citizens. What did they see fit to do? So that's what I want to get into. There are a couple of bills. One of them was in the Department of Commerce that's loaded with crap, but there's one thing in particular that they focused on in this last special session: $2 million to go to help fund the activities of the newly created Office of Legal Immigration. They created the Office of Legal Immigration because businesses came to the legislature, to special select power players in the legislature, and said, you know what, we would really like some money to pay for our efforts to go and find foreign workers and bring them into the state. Now, because there's a workforce shortage. So the legislators like, ding, 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 workforce shortage. Oh, we can spend a ton of money on that. So businesses, for instance, I believe one of the hospital groups brought in testimony saying, look at if the foreign workers are so important. We have like 46 or maybe it was 63, I forget. Anyway, a huge number of our workers in this field, I think it was nursing, are foreign. And so therefore we need help getting foreign workers. And I would say if the percentage of your workers that are foreign is that high, you are clearly very successful at getting foreign workers. You don't need our taxpayer dollars to do it. Why would we give private business money to go and find workers? We are all hurting, all businesses in North Dakota. In fact, all businesses in the United States are having trouble finding labor. So this is not an appropriate thing to be spending taxpayer dollars on. But they passed it. So they didn't give you 46 million in tax relief, but they did decide, hey, let's give $2 million to private businesses so they don't have to be bothered with the cost of finding workers. Okay, that's bullcrap in my book. Now here's the next one. They passed a $125 million giveaway to a private company to produce to produce hydrogen. But the byproducts then would be fertilizer. So it's a fertilizer plant. They produce hydrogen, which is necessary then to make the fertilizer product. But it's effectively a fertilizer plant, and they are giving $125 million for this. Now, what's interesting is if you spent the time watching in the House and the Senate and the committee hearings, they laugh, they joke about how it's called a forgivable loan, because a forgivable loan sounds like we're not just giving money away. But they joke about it. They're saying it is a grant, it is a giveaway, because they get the loan the day that and they said this on video, on the floor, I believe, of the Senate. I watched both of the Senate. They get the money that's, let's say, the day they complete construction on the project, and then they turn over the paperwork to the Bank of North Dakota, and the loan is forgiven. $125 million, just like that, give. Another thing they joke about, because allegedly this is going up for a competitive bid. Some business, we don't know who, some business is going to get $125 million of your taxpayer money. They also joke about this. There's laughter in the chamber, because they say to a business on the House side, they said, we passed this in April and we can't renege on our promises. We've made a promise. People have invested millions of dollars based on that promise. So I say to you, who invested millions of dollars? A company that knows that it's going to get $125 million is making the investment, because nobody invests millions of dollars if they don't know they're getting the money. NextEra is the company. So this is well known. It's well known. People are talking about it. Senator Jeff Magrum on the floor of the Senate said the name of the company. that they're going to get this because it's understood, but it's only in whispers, right? It's only in committee hearings and in the hallway. And one of the other senators, he got to get up on his microphone and wanted to admonish Senator Magrum because it goes against decorum to say the name of the company that's getting it, because we're not supposed to give money specifically and directly to a company. So they pretend that it's a competitive bid. Now they put on that the production of the hydrogen has to be done with electrolysis of water. Now, there are other companies that can produce the hydrogen using fossil fuels, which we happen to have a lot of in North Dakota. The argument could be made, why did they put in, why if all we care about is getting fertilizer in the state, why do we care if it's made with one method versus another method? Well, we care because apparently the legislature is trying to get the money specifically to this one company. And also, do you know that it is cheaper to make the hydrogen from fossil fuels, which we have a lot of, than it is from electrolysis of water? Do you know that the amount of hydrogen produced commercially in industry is less than 1% that's made from electrolysis of water because it's too expensive? It's made from natural gas, which we have a lot of. But the legislature said, no, it has to be for this, electrolysis of water. So the hubris of the legislature, where they joke about, and because after Magrum was admonished, then another senator got up, I think it was Senator Patton, said, a company that shall not be named or something like that. It's like, it would all be fun jokes if it wasn't just in our face about how they're abusing our taxpayer dollars. So the legislature, knowing that it had, with the advent of the new money at the end of this biennium, about $3 billion of excess, decided that they could not give the taxpayers $46 million of further tax relief. But they did see the necessity to give a specific private business $125 million of your money, of my money, free and clear. And also to say, we're going to give $2 million to private businesses to cover their costs of finding workers, so long as the workers are foreign. Okay? Now you tell me that this isn't the time to demand our own tax relief. You tell me that this is not the time that we say enough is enough. We cannot rely on the legislature to provide tax relief. They have shown us time and time and time again. And where they have done it, like with Governor Burgum, it's the least amount possible to make us feel like they're trying to do something. You listen to Governor Burgum, we have billions upon billions of quote unquote cash laying around. Quote unquote, today is what is when he said that. We can do it. It can be done. We've shown how. Please sign the petition to eliminate property tax, because it is eliminating and replacing property tax with all of the money that the legislature is wasting. So you finally get to keep that money that you're paying currently in property tax in your pocket. The locals retain control. The legislature gets some of their play money taken away. That's the way it ought to be. So I hope you support this measure. Please go out, be active, get signatures, do what needs to be done. We have to make this happen. Folks, if we don't do it this time around, it won't be done. And then there's no reason to complain. We had the opportunity and we haven't. We need to take it. So that's all I got for you. You guys have a good night.